I want to lose weight, but I'm not interested in counting calories. Is this possible? Good question. It really, to me, doesn't seem like long ago that counting calories was like new. In fact, I can remember pre MyFitnessPal, pre iPhones, actually, aging myself here, I would do Excel spreadsheets to help clients to figure out their macros, and it wasn't something people really did at the time. Meal plans were kind of all the rage, and the reason for that, really, as much as meal plans get such a bad rap, and in many ways rightly so now, is that in lieu of counting calories, having a set of meals that you already know the sort of calorific value of, or you should do really in order for them to be sort of effective, ensures that you are going to be in that calorie deficit. But yeah, of course it's possible to lose weight without counting calories. We all did that pre MyFitnessPal. A lot of what counting calories comes down to, and the sort of efficacy of tracking your macros, counting your calories, really does just come down to mindfulness of what you're eating, or just paying attention to what you're eating. And there are many studies to show that things as simple as literally just writing down in a notebook what you eat from day to day, and I don't mean even checking the calorific value, I mean just writing bowl of shreddies, down in a notebook. Just the simple accountability of doing that day in, day out, keeping a food diary, is enough to kind of have a downstream effect on weight loss and help you lose weight simply through having that extra bit of accountability. If that's too close to tracking calories for you, is just take a picture of everything you eat. Take a picture, stick them all in one album. Even if you don't review them at the end of the day, having that accountability, as long as this isn't kind of a big red flag for your own mental health, if this is something that you're comfortable with doing and it doesn't trigger any anxieties, just that simple act of knowing, when I make this meal, I'm going to take a picture of it and I'm just going to have a quick look back at the end of the day, it can make you a little bit more mindful about what you're eating. And it should never get to the point where you're like, oh God, I don't want to eat this because I know I've got to take a picture of it. But it does allow you to get a good grasp on all of those extraneous things that you eat throughout the day. If it was down to your memory, you might not recall, the extra condiments, the snacks here and there, the incorrect portion sizes. Just having that little bit of accountability of taking those photos, writing it in the diary, that can help massively. If that's not for you, what you can do is kind of front load your calorie count by figuring out a bunch of meals that you would regularly eat, that you like to eat, that you enjoy. Work out the calorie content of those and work out like what sort of portions of these meals fit into the type of diet that's going to be conducive to your goals. So if your goals are fat loss, the type of diet, the amount of calories you'd need to eat in order to be in a caloric deficit, you figure out some lunches, some breakfasts, some dinners, some snacks that when you add them all up, fit roughly into whatever this number is. Once you've got a few of them kind of down pat, and this is what a lot of people who have tracked for a while end up kind of getting into the space of, you can just eat them without logging. You don't have to go back into MyFitnessPal. This is a 650 cal dinner, give or take. This is a 500 cal breakfast, give or take. This is why a lot of coaches argue for spending some time tracking to familiarize yourself with the calorie and macro counts of certain foods, but you can just do that up front. Just make a few meals virtually on MyFitnessPal and get used to what meals have what calorie content, what protein content, carb content, etc. And then get a few you like and build your meals, build your days around those, and you never have to track ever again. Another thing you can do is, and this is something I really like, is just have a protein first approach. This one simple thing I think can have a huge impact on people's body composition. Every time you eat, every time you're going to put food into your mouth, just have a think, does this have an adequate amount of protein in it? Particularly in our culture where high carbohydrate, high fat, highly palatable, aka delicious foods are readily available for not a lot of money on every street corner. Ensuring that you're getting an adequate dose of protein each and every time you eat kind of hacks that algorithm, because you can't just go and grab the chocolate bar. Of course, if you want it, it's there. But if you're ensuring, I need to get 30 grams of protein, that might force you to be a little bit mindful and then just maybe wait till lunch. Maybe it just gives you that pause to think, am I actually hungry right now? Or is this just habitual conditioning? Is this just my sort of behavioral sweet tooth as opposed to any sort of physiological hunger? So just making sure every time you eat has some sort of protein source to a decent amount as well. That can kind of hack through that mindless eating algorithm and just make you be a little bit more sensible. Of course, don't do any of these things if you feel as though they're going to have a negative impact on your mental health or well-being, and perhaps this is a deeper issue that you need to work through with a professional in this field. But for anyone who's kind of comfortable with their diet, has a good relationship with food, those are 3 things you can do. Don't require you to log into MyFitnessPal, which can help you stay on top of your diet.